You said earlier today about this being an unprovoked random assault. Take us through your thoughts on this situation.
Obviously, it's extremely tragic. We have an innocent person who was returning to their residence and attacked without any motive, and as a result, he tragically lost his life. Despite the best efforts of many citizens within our city, trying to render emergency first aid.
And how does that fit with you? Random, unprovoked, how persistent and prevented if those are the circumstances leading up to it? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think obviously we're very sympathetic towards the victim's family. This is a tragic loss that no one could prepare for. We're working with the Crown Prosecutor's Office. We have confirmation now that the charge of manslaughter will be upgraded to second-degree murder. That will come through the court process. But right now, our thoughts are with the family and with all the people that rendered emergency first aid. It was an extremely traumatic event, and our victim support team with our police services are helping residents cope with obviously the stress that was caused through this event.
And it was mentioned that an upgrade was possible. Can you take us through what led to it being upgraded from manslaughter to second degree?
Sure. Obviously, there was a lot of information coming in on Saturday, and we originally received charge authorization for manslaughter. But as a result of all the information coming in, the totality of the evidence collected, and the autopsy that was performed this morning, the Crown Prosecutor's Office will be upgrading this charge now to second-degree murder.
Can you talk just a little bit about, as a police officer, like you mentioned something about how the man is known to police and that you're going to advocate that he stays behind bars. How frustrating is it? Because this man is known to police, had a criminal history. I believe he was charged with something similar, and now he's attacked and killed an innocent man. Can you maybe talk about, as a police service, how frustrating it is that you have people who are charged with very serious offenses, get released, and then they do something worse?
Sure. In relation to this particular case, I can't comment directly due to privacy legislation, but in general, what I can say, it's extremely frustrating when prolific violent offenders are being released back into our community. The police service has a responsibility for public safety, and it is very difficult to ensure public safety when violent offenders are placed back on the street.
And something that we've been, kind of string of violent attacks, specifically with shootings. Of course, this is a bit of a different situation here. And you've heard that most shootings anyways are typically targeted, but again, this isn't untargeted, or I guess it was targeted in a sense, but it was a random attack for the most part. So I guess how can the average person feel safe knowing that this happened in someone's home, in the hallway of the building they were living in?
Sure. Well, we've had 21 homicides this year. 12 have been the result of gun violence. I know Superintendent Boyd may speak about the strategies the service is employing in relation to suppressing gun violence. This is a very traumatic event. Obviously, any random attack causes great stress in our community, and we're very thankful to the media, but also members of the public who gave us information that led to the arrest of the suspect so quickly.
Can you maybe go into what went into finding the suspect and ultimately charging him? Like, how did you find him?
Sure. After the homicide occurred, numerous resources were deployed in the area, and as a result of the police service and the community being hyper-vigilant, we were able to arrest him near the crime scene not long after the murder.
Anything else you want to say to the public, especially with people within the Inglewood area and within Calgary in general, who are facing the outcome?
Well, I would say that public safety is obviously the responsibility of the police service, but it's the responsibility of everyone living in our community. And we want Calgary to thrive, and we want Calgary to be safe. And any information on any crime, even the smallest piece, could be the difference in the police service laying charges and holding people accountable. And once again, I really want to thank the citizens that came to the aid of our victim, and I know the family is very grateful of that.
Sure. For these may not be able to speak entirely to like the
Yeah, the number of homicides, ebbs and flows. Last year, I believe we had 21 for the entirety of the year. This year, we're already at 21, which is concerning. We'll have to see how the rest of the year goes. I know gun violence is certainly on everyone's mind. And we have a number of strategies as far as the police service goes to deal with that violence. As far as resourcing, it obviously is very taxing. Not only the homicide unit, but all the other units that support homicide, our victim assistance, our crime scenes, patrol. We all are working together to make our community safer, but it is very demanding on the members in our service, as well as everyone who supports us. Nope. Once again, thank you.
Of course. Afternoon, everybody. My name's Scott Boyd, SCOTT-BOYD. I'm the superintendent for our Patrol South division of the south part of the city. I'll just maybe start with the question around, are you concerned around the level of violence? And I would say, yes, we're very concerned with the amount of gun violence in our city. Concerned, but not worried. And here's why. Concerned that the individuals responsible are showing such reckless behavior on our streets for other Calgarians. This senseless violence leads to the type of death and injury of the innocent bystanders that we're here mourning today. There's no place for this level of violence in our city. Concerned because the majority of the gun violence has a randomness to it. These are less typical motivations that take longer to try and explain versus our traditional organized crime modus operandi. We're concerned because of the sheer volume, 99 shootings in Calgary year to date, which puts our entire community at risk. But here's why we're not worried. Not to be dismissive, but rather hopefully a comforting message for Calgarians and people watching. We have a very engaged community. And when they see these type of news conferences, we get an outpouring of phone calls and responses, tips from Calgarians, helping lead and solve other crimes. Those calls, full stop, help solve crimes. We have dozens of quality investigative teams, much like Staff Sergeant Chiavetta leads. Talented analysts, forensic experts, and patrol officers who are chasing down the leads, connecting with the community, and working with our partners to lay these charges and hold these individuals accountable for their actions. And finally, I'm not worried because we're having success with files. You're going to see and hear from us in the coming weeks an outpouring of criminality being held accountable. You'll be sick of coming to this room, I'm certain. But every day, we're getting further progress on this level of violence. We're recovering guns literally every day. We've recovered more than 300 crime guns year to date. We have a plan. We're working the plan, and the plan is producing results. And I hope knowing that brings some calm and solace to those who may be a little worried right now. I'm happy to take any other questions you may have.
Sir, could you just give us an idea of the resources available to communities after they suffer something like this? Like what can the folks of Inglewood access now that they've gone through this and maybe want to feel comfortable in the community again?
Yeah, it's a great and really important question. As you heard earlier, a lot of the citizens were the first people on scene. And while it impacts our officers who are there and dealing with the trauma, many of the general citizens don't have the background or coping mechanisms to be able to do this. So we deploy our victim assistance unit. They're available by phone call or by email through our website. And they're available to talk through some of these complexities and the feelings and emotions that they may feel now, but more so, as we know from post-traumatic stress, in the days and weeks ahead.
You spoke about shootings. What can you tell us about assault in the community? I know there was just one on Thursday at any numbers or yeah, what can you tell us?
We'll be able to bring some stats offline for you in relation to general kind of violence and assaults. But the message remains the same, is that regardless of the weapon or method that people are choosing to wreak havoc in our community, there's no place for it. Our citizens deserve and demand a safe city, and we're working with all of our partners to help make that a reality. And make no mistake, this is not just a Calgary Police Service issue, and the success won't come from Calgary Police alone. The community needs to be a part of it. Our partners in justice, our partners in health and social services all play key roles in doing their part to have successful outcomes like we're experiencing.
And you mentioned that we're going to be seeing and hearing a lot more from you guys in the coming weeks about these infractions and cases. How are you feeling in terms, like we've been hearing and seeing these shootings happen almost every other day recently? Are you confident that things are going to start to trickle downward again, that this crackdown and this spotlight is going to be positive news in our fight against gun violence that we see growing?
That's all of our hopes. None of us have the crystal ball, that's for sure. But what I know is that with an engaged community who, when they see something that just isn't right, they see family or friends with a more lucrative lifestyle than maybe they could understand, any of those small little observations, you'd be surprised, can lead us to something that we get from somebody else to put the pieces together to help bring those solutions together. So we all hope that these strategies will bring up a safer resolution to what we've been experiencing in days of past here.
And any comments on the specific case that we were testing the steps that are going to say in terms of the randomness of those shooting to start with?
Yeah, that's concerning, of course, for all of us. We all have family that live in Calgary as well, that walk the same streets as these people where these incidents are taking place. So it's concerning to us as a police officer because of our job, but it's concerning to us as community citizens and involved here as well. And we, on duty, off duty, want to be part of that solution and encourage our friends and family to do the same. But we're going to get through it, and we're going to get through it together by ensuring the communication's there and letting us know what they know.
Any other questions? I'm not sure if this question is best for you, but, and again, I think we kind of have some confirmation that this same person involved with a similar kind of thing. But yeah, can you confirm that this Corey Zavo, as he's known, that he was involved in that unprovoked assault at St. Mary's? This was in February 2020?
Right. I think the information you have from staff Chiavetta at this time about privacy limits any responses around that. So we'll hope to be able to speak more to it in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.